הנה מה טוב לנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב מה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
Hey, now you're here. You got to hear your voices. Hine, let's hear ya. All right, just you guys. Let's hear it.
Shana Tova, everyone. Let's try that. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
All right. Everyone has their coffee. I know some of us just rolled out of bed. Some of us at viewing at home might still be in our pajamas, which we totally support. And for the brave souls who are here at 8:30 in the morning, we are so glad to see all of your faces. We know that this has not been a normal year for any of us, and it just feels so good to be back together to welcome in this new year. And so that's what we are going to do, because the idea of teshuvah, this idea of returning, is that we can return both to our most whole and loving selves as parents and as children and as siblings, but also that we can return to one another, that we can reconnect as a community. And that is what we're going to do in this service. So we want to invite you to pray with us and to sing with us. If you're feeling, you want to do a little head bob or dancing in your seat, we support that. For those of you at home, sing it out. Fill your home and your space with this joy. And we are going to begin together with words thanking God for the miraculous gift of our body, Asher Yatzar. It can be found on page 5.
gift I give to you.
page 6.
Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Elohim. Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi,
Let's see the hand motions.
You created me, you shaped me, you breathed me into life. You created me, you shaped me, you breathed me into life. Elohim, Shama. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Elohim. Shama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi,
So I still remember all of the warm-ups that we used to do when I was a basketball player in high school. Raise your hand. Does anyone else here play basketball? Do we have some dancers? Any dancers here? Okay. What about tennis? Baseball? Yeah. Okay. Gymnastics? Yeah. All right. Allie is saying volleyball. Yes. Do we have any volleyball players? Please mime what sports you play. That would be awesome. So when I used to play basketball in high school, we used to do first a stretch. It was called the 3-man weave. We would now call it the 3-person weave. And we used to...
Leave.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Rabbi Jason. And we used to stretch our bodies. And then we used to listen on my basketball team. Now I'm dating myself to Eye of the Tiger from Rocky 3. Anybody? Thank you, Jesse. Israel's giving me lots of nodding. Yes, exactly. That'll be our next opening song for the next service. I'm now ready to play basketball. And so we would do this whole ritual before every single game in order to get ourselves ready. And it's really the same thing with prayer. The idea that you can just sit in a seat and feel soulful and prayerful and pray out to God or pray and have that sense of reflection with yourself, it takes a little bit of time and it takes a little bit of work. And so that's why we have these warm-up prayers. We have thanking God for our bodies, thanking God for our souls, and then we arrive to Baruch Hu. And the game is starting now when we get to the Baruch Hu, and it's saying, are you here? Are you ready to pray? Are you showing up to this space with your whole heart? Are you showing up really to your life, to your family with your whole self and your whole heart? Because this is our chance to do that and to start again in this new year. And so we're going to invite you to please rise as we sing together these sacred words. We are on page 8.
Are you listening?
join together responsively on page 10. Judaism begins with the commandment, "Hear, O Israel." But what does it really mean to hear?
The person who listens to the news and thinks only of how it'll affect their own business hears but is not listening.
The person who walks amid the songs of birds but doesn't have the time to listen to their song hears but is not listening.
The one who listens to the words of a friend or a child and does not catch the note of urgency, notice me, help me, care about me, hears but is not listening.
People who stifle the sound of their own conscience and believe they have done enough already hear but are not listening. On this Rosh Hashanah, O God, sharpen my ability to hear.
May I hear the music of the world and the cries of children and the needs of my family.
May I hear the call for help of the lonely soul and the sound of a breaking heart.
May I hear the words of my friends and also their unspoken pleas and dreams.
May I hear within myself the yearnings that are struggling for expression.
May I hear within myself the yearnings.
May I hear you, O
O
God.
God.
May we hear you, O God. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. We join together in the Ve'ahavta on page 12. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאותה ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני
Adonai Elohechem.
As we recall our people's history from slavery into freedom, we remember with the Michamocha prayer that prayers really are important. They help to center us. They help us to really focus and clarify our values and what matters, but that really prayer can't be all that there is. It has to actually be accompanied by action. And so as we join together in our Michamocha prayer, we think both about the ways in which we want to change ourselves, but also the ways that we then want to go out into this world and change it as well. We are on page 13, and this is one of those songs you got to sing with us. Dancing is fully embraced and encouraged as well.
La la la
now prepare for our Amidah. This is our opportunity in this space here in our wilderness under this tent together in community that we are called to be in conversation with the divine, that which we can't touch or see, but in moments we can feel. And the rabbis say, whatever is on your heart, in whatever language, Hebrew, Shmebrew, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, whatever is the language of your heart, of your soul, of your truth, whatever you need to ask for, whatever you need to celebrate or lift up, this is your time to do that. Take advantage of this space on this holy day. Please rise for the silent Amidah. We'll enter together on page 14.
Ose Shalom, a prayer for peace on page 20.
Ose Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ya'aseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yeholah.
Amen. Amen. I think we're going to bring peace into the world in this new year. Thank you, Bruce. Amen. Well, one space that we do have control about the peace that we bring into this world is in our own families. And we know that many of us have had a lot of family time in this past year. And yes. And some of you, I'm sure there have been beautiful gifts that have hopefully come from more time together than we're used to. And some of you are just giving that knowing nod about that it's also been really hard having all of this time together in this past year. And as we welcome in Rosh Hashanah, as we welcome in our new year, we have the chance to recreate ourselves. We get to decide who we're going to be in this new year, but we also get the chance to press the reset button on who we are as a family and to think about really how we want to relate to one another and function together. And so we can think about some of those arguments that we might have had that we keep falling into with our parents or our siblings, or the moments when we're short or impatient. It happens to all of us because our kids are doing that same thing again. Or maybe the stories that we tell ourselves about who our kids should be or about who our parents should be, comparing ourselves to our siblings, and so on and so on and so on. And then we arrive at this chance with Rosh Hashanah, and really we get to just rethink and to try and to make mistakes along the way and to figure out how we want to be with one another, how we want to talk to one another, and how we want to spend time with each other. And so that is why we have, I hope, that one of my favorite customs about this service is the family contract. And so for those of you who are here in our sanctuary, we have family contracts inside your books. And if you need an extra one, just raise your hand and Chloe will come around you and bring one to you. And for those of you online, if you press the link right below the streaming page, there is a copy of the family contract as well. Thank you to Drew. And this is really the practice where we're going to spend just a few minutes. This is meant to be the beginning of the conversation, and that we're going to ask that you fill out these contracts and put them up in a prominent location so that you can keep revisiting them, not just over the high holidays, but maybe on Shabbat every week, or maybe once a month, or whatever it's going to look like for your family. And to think about, what are the feelings that you want to have in your home? What are the relationships that you want to build? What are some of the commitments that you want to make to each other, and to jot them down, to talk about them, to write some down. And then you get to sign your name as an affirmation that you're going to work on this And it doesn't mean you're going to do it perfectly. That's not the goal, but that you're going to just keep trying and returning again. And so we're going to give you just a few minutes, and then we'll come back together. I'm just putting my mask on, not because I think you all are giving me COVID. Go ahead.
Yeah, just the
I just added because that's when they really. Okay, that's what I just want to know for.
I think that's how he wrote it. That's right. I've never met him.
You're right.
So this guy David is a congregant in Isaiah. I don't think it's one everyone sings. His Ahabat Olam goes. Yeah. Oh, for real? Yeah, it's definitely not written by them.
No, but he wrote it.
No.
It's written by Dave Mann. That's who I sang with last night. I didn't sing it, his family sang it before them, and it's like,
Is it gorgeous?
it's gorgeous. You know, like, I mean, I'm such a cheeseball, but like to watch a family sing together.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I was nuts. But it has a few other melodies I'm going to send you links to, because I think they're good.
There is an Oseh Shalom, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And then he has an Achat Sha'alti that's really different. It's easy for us to say. I'm not convinced it's easy for my Asian. But it's also just really like a beat, which is unusual for the season to find something that's like, that moves.
I'm not a Paiute person, but why? These are like a much more traditional. I love the music. The clothes was a piece that was like the water. It was beautiful. Emma and Josh said he was skated. It was really nice. It was like a return, but like a rocket one. It was good. Yeah, I'm excited. She was very nice. She must have been. I can't imagine. She has like the weight of the world.
More than capable.
I'm not a music video guy, and when I watch music videos, they make me like friends. They like make me.
I'm not.
So I hope that I never have to do a music video.
I won't do it. I'll be like, you know what? Show congregants. Show somebody else.
We'll have our own place.
You know what though? I love singing with it.
It sounds so good.
It's like singing between the expression.
You also have books.
I committed no crimes. I just broke my first rule.
Take about one more minute.
I should have been promised that I couldn't.
we're going to come back together. And we're going to join together responsively on page 21. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Together. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned against you.
Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olaleinu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu Kala Dever Ve'cherev Ve'ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu Kala Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to all oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us for blessing in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the new year be a good year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu Harem Kerem Yisrael Amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, give strength to your people.
Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu V'anenu Ki Ein Banu Masim Aseh Imanu Tzedaka V'Chesed V'Hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu V'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu V'anenu, Yemanu Masi. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, V'hoshienu. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, V'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu V'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu V'anenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim.
Just this past week, I totally messed up. A coworker mentioned that a congregant's husband was in the hospital. My first thought was, oh no, I hope he's okay. But I was surprised that I hadn't heard from her. So I checked my email and my voicemail and my texts. And there it was, a text from 2 days before. My heart sank. My innards felt like curdled milk, unctuous and sour. I prayed her husband was okay and that she did not feel ignored or abandoned. I immediately texted her and called her shortly afterwards. She picked the phone up right away, and thank goodness, she said her husband was back home and on the path to recovery. I will see him later this week. She then made a joke about her own heroism to get him out of the hospital, and then just very graciously, she accepted my apology. Well, she said, this is the season. The headlines that had inked themselves in my mind, worst human ever, started to fade. Of course, I was most relieved that her husband was okay and that he received the care he needed and she was not feeling abandoned. And then selfishly, I was just so grateful to be forgiven for a very honest mistake of missing a text, which probably all of us have done at some point. In truth, every day is a season of forgiveness, both of asking for and granting. Our foibles and our failings are bountiful. The intensive high holiday process of tshuva, of seeking to return to our best selves, is replicated every day in our prayer practice. As all of our religious school students know, when we wake up in the morning and come into consciousness, the first prayer we say is, last night a parent said it was coffee for coffee. Any ideas? What's the first thing we say as we come into consciousness? Rabbi Jason, do you know?
You want to say it?
Go ahead, yeah. That's really nice. I wasn't expecting that. But this is the music of our lives. We should wake up every morning to this. Who would like Rabbi Chasen, just like in the background at their house? Maybe coffee for the parents, music for the family. Put your hands in the air, everybody. Yes. Well, I think what we're feeling is gratitude. We're feeling thanks, which is exactly right. It's modeh ani. It's just saying thank you for having my soul return to me for another day of this, another day of living. And when we go to bed every night, we also have another prayer. We have the evening Shema. And before we say the Shema, traditionally the words are, I hereby forgive anyone who has angered or provoked me, or sinned against me, physically or financially, or by failing to give me due respect, or in any other matter relating to me, inadvertently or deliberately. Whether in word or deed, let no one incur punishment because of me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, in many voices, sovereign of the universe, who makes the bonds of sleep fall on my eyes and slumber on my eyelids. Let not my imagination, bad dreams, or troubling thoughts disturb me. May my bed be flawless before you. This evening Shema practice teaches us that forgiving others allows our soul to be at peace, our eyes to slumber. The evening Shema is not primarily about asking for forgiveness, but granting it. While we have the ability to ask for forgiveness from others and hopefully receive it, the evening Shema recognizes something else. It acknowledges the power of forgiving others. And therefore, when we tell someone else that they have hurt us, it's really a gift for them, providing them with an opportunity to say sorry for any harm they might have caused intentionally or unintentionally. And we don't have to wait for the high holidays to undertake a process of tshuva. The gift is there when we rise every morning, with or without a soundtrack, and when we go to bed at night. There is no one who carries a grudge or who ruthlessly denies forgiveness who sleeps well at night. We all know this. Importantly, forgiving someone does not approve or condone of their behavior. If you are hurt, it doesn't mean that you have to retie the bonds of friendship. But when we forgive others, we are both liberated and able to move forward. Seeking to make amends, to make tshuva, to return to our best selves is not about making everything okay. It is about creating space for something new. Every day on this planet is a miracle. We're called to live life to our fullest. This process of tshuva is part of that life. You are invited to take a moment to reflect on to whom you may need to grant forgiveness for something they've done intentionally or unintentionally to hurt you. And maybe there's somebody that you have hurt, not because you meant to, or maybe you did, either way, and you want to ask for forgiveness. Just take a moment to think about who they are and how you might approach them. May this year be one of deep happiness. May we release ourselves and liberate others. Wishing you all a sweet and fresh new year, and may you be written into the book of life. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
We are going to move into our Torah service, and if you're able, I invite you to please rise.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongues. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongues. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah, la'asot b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
One last time.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
You may be seated. For our Torah reading this morning, we are going to be reading from the very, very beginning of the Torah, the story of creation. And we are so excited to have one of our students, Aaliyah Burston, who became a bat mitzvah a little over a year ago over Zoom. We're so excited that she's going to be reading Torah in this space today. And so in a moment, I'm going to call her up. For the honor of the Aliyah, I want to invite, and this is in your place, you can just stand. I want to invite any students and their families who have had a B'nai Mitzvah during the past 18 months, during this time of the pandemic. I see lots of you who are here. They're all hiding their faces from me right now. I want to invite you and your families to rise, and you're going to do the Aliyah with Cantor Cates. Cantor Cates is going to sing it with you. Just stand in your seats. Thank you, Cohen, Siegel, Sarah Siegel. That's you. That's the Burstons, the Schweitzers. All right.
All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. Venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
There we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we'll mic you, don't worry.
All right. Amen. Reshit barach Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'haaretz hayita tohu vavohu ve'hoshev al pnei techol ve'ruach Elohim merechefet al pnei hamayim vayomer Elohim yior ve'hior Vayar Elohim et haor ki tov v'yavdel Elohim ben haor uven hahoshev vayikra Elohim laor yom v'lachoshev kara laila vahi erev vahi voker yom echad.
Right.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chaye olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
We prepared to return the Torah to the ark, and I invite you to please rise.
Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life to them that'll fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that'll fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Stay right where you are. You look great. And I'll tell you why. Because it's our custom to stand for the sounding, whoops, you can see me better this way, for the sounding of the shofar. We're about to have that special opportunity to hear a sound that we hear only at this time of year, and for that reason it has unique power in our hearts and in our lives to inspire us, to wake us up. It is an alarming sound, intentionally, an alarming sound designed to draw our attention to our lives and to the path that we wish to walk with our loved ones, with our friends, with our community. There is, for this particular year, after the unbelievable struggle that we as families, we with children growing up in our homes, have faced, there's a particular rabbinic midrash that I wanted to share with you about the sounding of the shofar. Way long time ago, one of the early rabbis taught that the sound of the shofar was designed to mimic the cry of Sarah, the Jewish people's first mother. When Abraham and Isaac started to go up to the top of Mount Moriah without Mom. Mom was left at home, and she was extremely afraid for what the fate of her son was going to be on that trip. That we're taught that she cried, and that the shofar is supposed to be an echo of that cry. Every one of us who is a parent has experienced that cry this year, still are, as we continue to navigate through this time of uncertainty, as we continue to hope and pray that we can be a part of creating safety, health, blessing, protection for our children. Still, as we enter into the year 5782, that becomes our absolute commitment. And so this year especially, as we hear the sound of the shofar awakening us, let it reawaken us, recommit us to the great mission for our children, for ourselves, for our entire world, the great mission of protecting health, safety, and love. We're going to hear the sound of the shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh t'kiyah shvarim Truah t'kiyah gedolah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Kiesel on the shofar.
Aleinu can be found on page 31. Please continue standing.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula leotzer reshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegoralenu kechol habona, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar ve'Adonai lemelech hakol haaretz bayom hahu yiheh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo
While we stand, we call to mind and to heart those who filled our lives with goodness and who continue to journey on with us through the gift of memory. It is at times like this season of the year when we gather together with our families, that we think of those who we have lost, but who continue to inspire us and guide us. The more we tell their stories, the more we live their stories and their legacies, the more we ensure that we write the next chapters in the book of their lives. And so, to write them and seal them into our book of life for the year 5782. Let us join together in reciting the words of the Kaddish, which can be found on page 32. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'amad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon v'yom echon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'isman kari v'imru, amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram me'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. V'imru. Amen. May the giver of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and let us together say, Amen. Be seated.
We are so happy to be celebrating these holy days with you. Just a couple of announcements. If you are main sanctuary services will be happening virtually right after this. Then at 5 o'clock today, we will be at Tashlich at the beach. So we hope we'll see some of you then. And then again, we'll be right back here. Family services on Yom Kippur will either be at 5:30 p.m. in person and online, or 8:30, this great breezy time at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. And there's lots of other offerings that you can catch on our website. Rabbi Ross and I will be doing a session this Thursday night on parenting, how we forgive ourselves and how we forgive our kids. So we hope you'll join us over Zoom at 7:30 p.m. And finally, if you have not registered for religious school, in this new year, we want to lovingly remind you and invite you to do so today. Maybe tomorrow is okay too. And our first day of religious school will be taking place on Sunday, September 19th, in just a few weeks in these tents right out here. So we're excited to be with all of you.
Let us give thanks for the blessing of arriving at a new year. The words of Shehechianu are an expression of our gratitude simply to be alive and to be safe. Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for the gift of life and sustaining us so that we might arrive at this new year, at this moment, reunited together on our campus for the first time in a long time. It's so great to see all of you. Let's make Shehechianu for this precious moment.